welcome to Real Life Talks. I'm your host, Yvonne Heath, author of the book Love Your Life to Death and founder of the I Just Showed Up movement. So joining me today, I am so delighted to have Elke Scholz with me. And Elke, you don't know I'm going to do this, but I'm gonna brag on you a little. Elke is a registered psychotherapist, and her focus is on building inner strength of people. She also assists youth at risk with creative living and learning to help them become engaged with attending class and gaining life skills. Boy, do we ever need that right now. She is also, she has her master's in expressive art therapy and works with educators, social workers, doctors, and so much more. And she has been helping people for over 40 years. Elke, thank you so much for just showing up today. How are you doing? How are you doing in the midst of everything that is happening in the world right now?
Thank you for asking, Yvonne, because, just because I'm a therapist and I have lots of skills, which I want to share today, I've struggled. Since March 13th, I was supposed to be in a big show in Toronto, and I've gone through, I think, every emotion that everyone else is feeling. And one of the challenges for me has been I've had to really stretch my mind, my spirituality, who I am, to stay impartial, unbiased, safe, encouraging, and still positive. So that sometimes my head hurts at night, though I have to say the last few days has been a lot better. So yeah, it's quite a thing, I think, for everybody.
Absolutely. And of course, we're talking about the fact that at this moment in our world, we are dealing with global grief, global anxiety, because we are in the midst of a global pandemic. The coronavirus, COVID-19 has caused havoc in our world. There are many, many people who have died. We have been called to stay home. We have been called to not go to work, not go to school, socially distance ourselves or physically distance ourselves and find our new normal. And I so appreciate that you share your authenticity and vulnerability in that you have tremendous skills as a psychotherapist and so many other things that you have in your toolbox. And this is still challenging. This is still challenging for everyone. And so I appreciate, let me just step back also. Elke not only has so many skills that she has been helping people deal with loving their life, coping with anxiety. She has written books, and the number one here is Loving Your Life, which I have to laugh because we met when we were both at the hospital in Huntsville, and we were both part of an event, and somebody ran up to me. I have my book, Love Your Life to Death, and someone came up to me in a panic saying, "Oh no, there's a person here with a book called Loving Your Life." I mean, which book would you rather read? One that says death in the title or just loving your life? And it was funny because we then exchanged books and we've been sharing each other's teaching. And I was very honored in your next book, Anxiety Warrior, which I am truly in love with the fact that you are an anxiety warrior teaching others to be. And I was honored to share one of my chapters of my book in this book. But then you went on, Elke. Then you wrote the next Anxiety Warrior book, Anxiety Warrior Volume 2, with many more stories of people navigating through anxiety and sharing their wisdom. Tell us about this journey. First of all, why are you so passionate about being an anxiety warrior? What is anxiety? What is anxiety? Why are you so passionate about sharing your wisdom about anxiety?
Well, I think one of the things is anxiety is part of our human spectrum, and it's also a very strange word. Some people will tell you they don't have anxiety. We all have anxiety. We're human. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. However, what happens, and of course, right now, it's been exasperated. We were already on a big rise of anxiety, and now, of course, it's gotten, I guess, heightened. I want to say heightened. And again, it's not that anxiety itself is bad, and it may show up as stress or fear. And I know right now a lot of people are afraid. And I just want to keep encouraging them, because this fear actually changes your body chemistry. It makes you more vulnerable. It lowers your resistance. So I'm hoping we can share some strategies. One of the things with the books, I've always said they cost less than a pizza. Mm-hmm. And most of us have enough money for pizza. So, and there's literally hundreds of hours of strategies and therapy and coaching, or however you want to call that, in those books. They have a lot of value, and I'm really proud of them. And I do think that it will help people and help lower anxiety.
I could not agree more. I have read all of them, and truthfully, in this time, they are a tremendous resource to go back to. And it's funny when you say, some people think, "Oh, I don't have anxiety." We may not have an anxiety disorder per se. Anxiety is part of this journey. There's even anxiety in good times, right? Planning a wedding, having a baby. I mean, these are all things that are to be celebrated, but anxiety is a part of transitions and loss and change. And so and I love that you shared it. Anxiety can manifest itself in so many different ways, can't it? Even in like depression, panic attacks, procrastination, headaches, exhaustion. These are some of the things you shared that you have had to navigate in your life. And being physically ill, I mean, it manifests in so many different ways. And I think, and I believe you would agree, the first thing we need to do is acknowledge and allow these feelings. And then what, right? Like then figuring out how we can navigate through. So I absolutely would love to hear some strategies, Elke, that you could share with our viewers, because again, we'll say, if you're someone who doesn't have anxiety, wink, wink, you might know somebody who does. So you could share this with them, right? So what are some great strategies we can use to navigate through this?
Well, and like I said, we don't have to call it that word. It's a strange word. We can just call it stress if you want. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's some great strategies. I think right away in this time, what I've noticed, and I want to speak to the present, and that is also a strategy too, is to stay present. And right now, the sun is shining, the geese are flying overhead today, the buds are still coming out, the animals are calm, and I just love watching nature. So that's a big strategy. It's called actually ecotherapy. Is go outside, enjoy this sunshine, and I know we need the sunshine. Even if you can sit on your balcony, however you want to, and be safe, of course. I feel very fortunate. I'm on 6 acres, so I have a little bit more room. Anyways, we need that fresh air. We do need to be in nature. The other thing I've noticed is when people do go out, I've noticed maybe half the people don't look up. They're looking down as if I don't know if they're scared or they're ashamed or they're worried. Something, there's no eye contact, and that distresses me. We need eye contact. And one of the things I've been really super appreciative is of our frontline workers, like our cashiers, and even people just working, whether it's on the side of the road or garbage removal, is that they're smiling. And I think that's what I've really made an effort to do, get over my mood and just go into this place of appreciation and smiling, and making sure that when I try and make eye contact, even though if people are practicing this physical distancing, and I want to say thank you for changing that language. It's not social distancing, it's definitely physical distancing. We can still look at each other and smile, make eye contact and smile. We're human. We need that connection. It's so important. And I think that was one of the things I was struggling with at the beginning, because my general health, I have a whole daily practice, though part of that practice was shut down, as with so many people's. And I realized, I need that human contact, that connection. So when I have gone out, I don't go out very often anyways, but when I have gone to the grocery stores, making points to say thank you and looking at the attendants and the workers and eye contact, smiling. And even when I come across a shopper is, making sure that if they're looking at me, that I'm smiling and that I say I'm okay. And I feel that's so appreciated. And even my neighbors were waving on the road, making sure that, when we drive by, that we're waving and smiling. So I think that's really, really important right now.
You have given two absolutely tremendous tips that are so valuable, and they don't cost us anything. Right?
No.
This doesn't cost anything. So number one, I am the same. I always talk about, we need a post, which is something that we can turn to that can be there for us no matter what in times of despair. And certainly at this time of having to be physically distanced but socially connected, good old nature. Nature is just like the most miraculous healer there is. And I always encourage people to pause and go outside and pay so much more attention than you normally would, because you're running to the store, you're running kids around, you're running to work. We've had to pause. And so don't we just have a tremendous opportunity to embrace nature at like a deeper level every single day? Even if you have 5 minutes, like you said, Elke, go sit outside, 5 minutes of the sun on your face, listening to the birds, the chipmunks, all of it. Go be outside. And then the second piece, and you're so right. We when you see people, which isn't very often right now. So, geez, when you see each other, really enjoy an interaction again from a distance. If someone's looking down, I'm going to say, hi there, and have them really look at them and say, hello, I hope you're having a good day today. The sun is shining. Stay well, right? Stay well. And have that smile, do those things. And again, also appreciating those who have to go to work at a time when we're called to stay home. Others, essential services, and certainly our healthcare professionals, first responders, they have to go to work to keep our society functioning. Wouldn't it be so wonderful to extend some sort of thank you and get out of our own grief, right? So I created little hearts that say, thank you for just showing up. And I had Jordy, who's a paramedic, I had him bring them to work and put them in the windows at the hospital or with the paramedics. Thank you for just showing up, because when we show our appreciation to others, we also get out of our own anxiety or grief, don't we?
Absolutely. And I think that was another point, is gratitude. And one of the things I do practice is gratitude. I do that every day. And what I was noticing in myself is that I start out really well with my gratitude, and then I go into the world, and of course we're hit with the anxiety and all this fear, and it's hard not to get caught up in it. And one of the things I've said is, limit some of your media, and maybe stay away from the speculation. However, I want to focus on the gratitude is, even in this time of staying present, I mean, think of all the gifts that we have. And, I think that I'm healthy, my kids are healthy, my friends are healthy. There's this opportunity that I get to speak with you today. There's so many gifts that we have, and it's a great way to change channels in our brain. And, going from this worry and fear. And yes, there are some things out there we've got to be careful about. However, we can make the majority of our day, we can be in gratitude and just happy that we're healthy, we're alive, we're breathing. And, a lot of us, I think, a lot of people are with their families. And even when we're not, we have great neighbors. People have been reaching out. And when you start looking at how creative everybody has been in this time, it's actually so heartwarming. When you start looking at businesses and students and people just sewing things and just making so much effort to reach out to people. I mean, the yoga studio is doing live streaming classes, and somebody else said, like, we usually have a dance once a month, that they're going to do a connection with dance, and just being creative, and that's so wonderful, and people are pulling together. And can we be in that space and look at the growth that's happening? And somebody yesterday said they're taking this time for inner work, and how precious is that spiritual inner work. And so we can really kind of take this and blossom into a lot of big gratitude, I think.
Oh, it's like you're a kindred spirit, Elke. You're just, everything you're saying just resonates so deeply, because first of all, I believe that we do need to be informed about what is going on, right, with this global pandemic. We need to be informed. We can't put our heads in the sand. We do not need to be inundated with statistics and negativity all day, every day. Let's be informed, and then tune in, and then fuel the positive and connect with those positive and wonderful stories. There are so many beautiful stories of people just showing up, singing for their neighbors. One friend out west, Jenny, said that it was a woman's 90th birthday, and they lived in an apartment complex. And of course, they weren't going to have the 90th birthday that was planned. They all went out on their balconies and sang happy birthday to her. Right. So, right. Isn't that beautiful? It's just such a beautiful, and it was probably 5 minutes. And in 5 minutes, you can light up somebody's life. So in all of this darkness that is a global pandemic, we can be a light for each other. And when you're talking about gratitude, I've shared before that I have a ritual. I actually name 10 good things, 10 things that I'm grateful for every day. On my hardest days, on my sad days when I'm really struggling, and I've been there with tremendous anxiety, grief, sadness. Sometimes those things are, well, I had a nice shower, thank you. My coffee was really delicious. I'm wearing a shirt I like. They weren't majestic things, but we can always turn to gratitude, because we have choice in every moment. We don't always have the choice we wish we had. And that's the key, isn't it? We always have a choice of where our attention goes. And
Absolutely.
yes. So
yeah, and oh.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say about choice is, one thing we do have choice on, and people need to remember, we all need to remember, the choice is in between our ears. And no one can ever take that away. And it doesn't matter where we are, what situation we're in, we still have in between our ears, and we can change that channel. And we have 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Well, we can take a lot of those thoughts and concentrate and think about all the good things, and they're real. These are real, good, beautiful, heartwarming things. And Yvonne, I agree with you. I have days too where I'm not all zippity in the morning. However, I have that gratitude journal, and I can read a few pages, and I'm in the mood again. And it's okay. Every day we can write. I woke up this morning and it's a beautiful day.
Absolutely. And I am inundating myself with positive, and there's so many people out there giving of themselves. And I think that's just so extraordinary. And somebody also said that if there's a day where you're just not feeling grateful, well, like you said, if you have a journal or something, think of something you have been grateful for in the past, or when somebody really just showed up for you, or was there something wonderful, and think of that. We can always turn to that. And I think we should all have create a little gratitude jar and write down on pieces of paper things that we are grateful for. The whole family can do that. I'm grateful that you made me breakfast. I'm grateful for our goofy dog. I'm grateful for my silly socks. And you can read those. Everybody can read them either together or when they need a boost, right? We can use our imagination and really connect. Now, of course, one of the things that people have, let's talk about the elephant in the room. He's right back there. A lot of parents are feeling tremendous anxiety. Their kids are home, and
Mm.
my goodness, it is a challenging time, more for some parents than others. If you have been called to be home, you can't go to work, your kids are home, you're trying to work from home, and you're really challenged. And these kids are now challenged because they're having to learn online. And I know you support kids so much with it. I love reading this. You assist youth at risk with creative living and learning to help them become engaged with attending class and gaining life skills. I love this. So how can we, Elka, in this changed landscape, support our kids as they are home, they're not able to be with their friends, and they're learning online? How can we best support them?
Well, one of the things is children do learn by example. And when they see us as adults, and it's okay to let our children see that we're struggling right now, and include them in this team effort of we're going to get through this. And I wanted to just say I'm not embracing new normal. Sorry.
Okay.
I think this is a storm that we're weathering, and we're going to come out with some growth and opportunities. And I really want to encourage everyone to focus on that. So that's what I want to bring to our children, and that they'll look back at this time and go, wow, this was a great time that we connected with our parents. Most children, what I'm hearing, they're really happy that they're home with their parents, and they're embracing this time. Yes, they are missing their friends. They're really happy to be with mom and dad. And so one person I heard said, you know what, we're eating our meals together. And what a wonderful thing that is. So maybe it's about creating some new habits, and they're playing together, they're figuring out more things to do together. The other cool thing is, what are some new hobbies, some new skills that maybe you've put off and you wanted to learn? So I myself have learned to dye some clothing, and that's been really fun. I've been knitting socks, maybe too many, but anyways, that's kind of fun. So, maybe there's a book out there, or maybe the kids, they want to learn something that we haven't had time for because we've been in this busy time. So, those are some of the things that we can encourage each other. And again, playing outside. I mean, brothers and sisters can still play outside and do what's safe. So what are those interests? What are those hobbies? And I think when we show them our demeanor, how we're handling it, and I think it's about communication, letting them know that we're struggling as adults, letting them know what we're doing to take care of ourselves. Those are super examples. And I think it's okay. It's okay. And we are going to get through this, and just as we have with other things before.
I absolutely love that, Elka. And one of the points that I feel is just so critical and so important, and I talk about, you're the anxiety guru, I'm the grief guru, and it's all sort of hand in hand, really. But and no one's ever a guru, because none of this is easy for you or me, and that's why I just do the work I do, because it is challenging. But a really important point is, it is okay to let our children know, yeah, I'm struggling with this too. I think that is being a tremendous example. We don't have to be strong for everyone. Let's get through this together and be that example. It's like, yes, I'm struggling. And what can I do to help myself navigate through this? And when we're not turning to destructive habits, excessive drinking or pills or anger, or isolating ourselves from the family, when we're saying, yep, I'm struggling with this, and I'm gonna learn something new. I'm gonna knit a bunch of socks. I guess everyone's going to get socks for Christmas, whether they like them or not, at Elke's house. And let me tell you, I've become the queen puzzler. I have Tanner and I are making doing puzzles all the time. I didn't think I was going to be a queen puzzler, but we're just making it fun. Right. And those are the options that we have. And so, Elke, I cannot thank you enough for sharing your thoughts today. I would encourage everyone to go to Elke's website, elkescholz.com, and I would encourage you to purchase these books. Anxiety Warrior, the books will be something that is a resource for life. So, Elke, thanks again. Stay well, my friend. Keep smiling at everyone, and namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for letting me share. As you know, Yvonne, that is my passion. I think we can do this. I think with sharing, it doesn't have to be so difficult, and we all deserve to thrive. And I know you believe the same thing. So let's go out in the world and do this.
Absolutely. So thanks everyone for joining us today. Real Life Talks is about learning how to just show up for ourselves and each other. And it has never been a more important time than at this time in our history. So if you want to be able to just show up for one another, my call to action is always plan your life, plan your death, and then just love your life to death. And always bring your own tambourine to the party. Thanks. Bye for now.